Did you know that behind Switzerland's luxury watches, world-famous chocolate, and picture-perfect alpine peaks lies a web of secrets, ill-gotten wealth, and calculated betrayals that have shaped global history for centuries? The Switzerland you think you know represents merely the tip of an iceberg, concealing a far more complex and controversial reality. While the world marvels at Swiss precision, historic neutrality, and seemingly pristine prosperity, few understand the true sources of that wealth. Even fewer know about the betrayals that enabled this small alpine nation to become the planet's most powerful and secretive financial hub. Picture a country where silence commands higher value than gold itself, where neutrality transforms into profitable business, where mountains safeguard not just snow, but humanity's most compromising secrets. The real Switzerland extends far beyond a tourist destination. It operates as the beating heart of a global power network functioning in the shadows. For centuries, Switzerland perfected the art of positioning itself at the center without appearing involved. Strategically nestled among Europe's major powers, France, Germany, Austria, and Italy, this nation spanning just 41,000 km² with 8 million inhabitants achieved something no country had accomplished before, becoming indispensable to everyone while committing to none. But this neutrality came at a price. That price was paid through silent complicity, calculated betrayals, and the construction of the world's most opaque financial system. Today, you'll discover the real story that nobody shows you about how Switzerland became what it truly represents. Are you prepared to uncover the secrets that have remained hidden for decades? Tell me in the comments if you ever suspected there was more behind Switzerland's perfect image than meets the eye. Switzerland's secrets began forming long before the world knew about famous Swiss banks. The true story traces back to the 13th century, when Alpine cantons discovered their geographical position granted them unique power, serving as perfect intermediaries on a continent perpetually at war. Switzerland's first great wealth didn't emerge from innovation or hard work, but from calculated strategy, selling military services. Swiss mercenaries became Europe's most feared and respected soldiers. But here comes the first betrayal. They sold their services to the highest bidder, regardless of cause. They fought for popes and against popes, for kings and against kings, for Catholics and Protestants alike. This mercenary mentality transferred to the financial realm when, in 1934, Switzerland approved the legendary banking secrecy law. Official history claims it protected German clients persecuted by Nazis. The truth proves more complex. It marked the official birth of the world's most opaque financial system, designed to attract money without asking uncomfortable questions. But Switzerland's most devastating betrayal occurred during World War II. While Europe bled, Swiss banks enriched themselves by collaborating with all sides. They accepted stolen Nazi gold, tons of gold extracted from Holocaust victims, bullion looted from occupied central banks. Simultaneously, they managed accounts for anti-Nazi resistance fighters and Jewish refugees. Declassified documents reveal that Credit Suisse, UBS, and other major banks didn't just store this blood-stained gold, but actively facilitated Third Reich financial operations. While millions died in concentration camps, Swiss bankers coldly calculated commissions from these cursed deposits. This consolidated the Swiss model, taking no sides while profiting from all. Silence as business, neutrality as brand, discretion as exportable product, secrets became the primary national industry. The modern Swiss system that nobody shows you operates as a perfectly oiled machine of opaque wealth and sophisticated social control. While the world sees direct democracy and alpine freedom, reality reveals a country where every movement gets monitored and every transaction can be traced, except those the Swiss themselves prefer keeping secret. Let's start with hidden wealth. Switzerland manages approximately $2.4 trillion in offshore assets. 1/4 of all global wealth outside its countries of origin. But these official numbers represent only what they publicly admit. Independent estimates suggest the real figure could double that amount, including physical gold stored in secret vaults scattered throughout the territory. Banking secrets extend far beyond the famous account number. An entire ecosystem of foundations, trusts, and anonymous companies exists to hide not just money, but properties, artworks, yachts, private jets, and even entire corporations. It's a legal labyrinth designed to make true ownership practically impossible to trace. But here's what nobody really shows you: the internal control system. Every Swiss resident must register with their municipality within 14 days of any move. This isn't a suggestion, it's federal law. Authorities know exactly where you live, with whom you live, how much you earn, what you buy, where you travel. Swiss Big Brother operates so efficiently it remains invisible. Health insurance companies, mandatory for everyone, share detailed information about your physical and mental health with a network including employers, banks, and authorities. In the name of administrative efficiency, they've created detailed profiles of every citizen that remain in government databases for life. Then there are the bunkers. Switzerland maintains over 300,000 underground shelters, enough to house 114% of its population. The question nobody asks: why does a neutral country constantly prepare for apocalypse? The answer lies in the secrets they guard. They know that when the whole truth comes to light, the entire world will want to settle accounts. Now we reach the most shocking betrayals that have defined modern Switzerland and explain why no country dares truly pressure this small financial giant. Recent years' revelations represent mere fragments of a far more complex reality. The 2015 Swiss leaks barely scratched the surface. Documents leaked from HSBC in Switzerland revealed over 100,000 accounts used for tax evasion worth more than $100 billion. Among clients, international arms dealers, deposed dictators, extractive industry magnates, and politicians from over 200 countries. But the most revealing aspect wasn't the names, but the system. Each account was just one fragment of a much broader network. The Paradise Papers revealed something even more disturbing. Switzerland doesn't just facilitate tax evasion, but actively exports its model. Swiss banks operate money laundering academies in tax havens worldwide, teaching the most sophisticated financial concealment techniques. It's a global franchise of secrecy. The most recent betrayal involves the Crypto AG case, revealed in 2020. For over 50 years, this Swiss company sold encryption equipment to more than 120 countries, from governments to international organizations. What these clients didn't know was that the CIA and German intelligence service had complete access to all encrypted communications. Switzerland betrayed half the world's trust, selling security while facilitating massive espionage. But the most systematic betrayal is economic. While Switzerland presents itself as a model of fiscal responsibility and transparency, its multinationals practice tax evasion on an industrial scale. Nestlé, Glencore, Roche all use Switzerland's complex network of tax treaties to pay tax rates that can drop below 1% of their real global profits. The most recent scandal involves Credit Suisse, which collapsed in 2023 after decades of financing everything from Mexican cartels to sanctioned Russian oligarchs. The Swiss government's response was revealing. They rescued the bank with public money and sealed the most compromising investigations. The most explosive secrets never reached public light. These aren't failures of the Swiss system. They're fundamental features of a model that transformed systematic betrayal into state policy. So what's the true nature of Switzerland that nobody shows you? It's neither the democratic paradise it sells to the world, nor the absolute villain some want to paint. It's something far more complex and fascinating, a unique experiment in history of how a small country can wield global power through calculated secrets, wealth, and betrayals. Switzerland became what it is because it understood something other nations took centuries to grasp. In a world of constant conflicts, real power doesn't belong to whoever wins wars, but to whoever manages money from all sides. You don't need to conquer territories when you can control the capital flows that finance conquests. Swiss secrets aren't just numbered bank accounts, they're intimate knowledge of practically all global elites' financial weaknesses. When your bank knows exactly how an African politician finances his campaign, how a Russian oligarch moves his assets, or how an American multinational evades taxes, you possess power no army can grant. The wealth flowing through Switzerland isn't just numbers on screens. It's the fuel of modern geopolitics. Every international crisis, every war, every revolution, every economic boom leaves financial traces passing through Swiss institutions. It's like having access to the global economy's nervous system. The betrayals weren't accidents or moral deviations. They were deliberate strategies to keep Switzerland at the center of the world board without ever appearing as a direct threat. Betraying everyone a little is the safest way to ensure nobody wants to destroy you completely. But here's the final paradox that nobody shows you. The Swiss themselves are both beneficiaries and prisoners of this system. They live in one of the world's most prosperous and organized societies, but also one of the most controlled and psychologically isolated. They've built the perfect golden cage. Does this mean we should condemn or admire the Swiss model? Perhaps the right question is, what does Switzerland teach us about the real nature of power in the modern world? How many other countries are playing similar games, but with less skill? Tell me in the comments. After learning about these secrets, wealth, and betrayals, how has your perspective on Switzerland changed? And what other countries do you think might have equally fascinating dark sides that nobody shows us? If this type of deep analysis interests you, subscribe because we'll continue exploring the hidden truths behind nations we think we know.